When my girl's got the sweetest pussy, nestles in her lap, be the first to admit and wanna stroke that kitten, fell right into her trap. Now all that fur and purring gives me cause to pause.
Welcome to SinCityBounty.com, the only podcast where fat chicks keep their boobs hidden from 13-year-old creepers.
That's right, you 13-year-old creeper.
So, wow. Last week we struggled with finding a place to put my computer so that my boobs could be on the airwaves, and this week, I don't give a fuck. We have a 13-year-old creeper who's probably like a 45-year-old creeper. We don't really know. Either that or he's actually a cop trying to trap us into some child porno bullshit, which is not going to happen because we're not down with that. We are not down with that. So, if you are listening to this show and you are under the age of 18, please know that you are doing so against our wishes, your parents' wishes, and God's wishes.
God doesn't want you watching our show if you're under 18.
Nope.
This is a sin. CityBounty.com.
Now, I know
So
we've talked about it before,
Right.
about there's really not much that we can do to prevent you from watching this show. Really not much.
The internet's a free place.
We're listed as an adult-oriented topics on all of our social media. We're restricted from anyone under the age of 18 unless they click that little button that says, "Oh yeah, I'm over 18."
Sure. Click.
So if you're watching this and you are under the age of 18, you do so kind of at your own risk. But we're not here for you
At all. In any way,
So,
shape, fashion, or form.
Here's kind of where to go back a little bit, and I think I had mentioned to you as well. We all get tons of messages on our Facebook.
Mostly dicks.
Tons of messages. Lots and lots of dicks. But tons of messages. Messages from people who would like to marry us. They love us. They hate us.
They want us to find them girlfriends.
They want us to find them girlfriends.
They want to trade dick pics.
I had one who she was furious because I wouldn't send her boob pics.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was a girl.
Wow.
And, she used some choice words, and for the most part, I don't interact too much because it doesn't always end up well. But there was somebody who reached out and had asked some questions, and how can I find the show? And without actually doing any research or clicking on the profile, I just went ahead and referred to our site. In hindsight, it was somebody who had also reached out to us through other means and to all of us at some point. So in directing you to our site, I didn't realize you were under 18. And once I did, I let you know very quickly that this conversation was going no further and our show is not the show for you. And actually referred him to a teen talk show
That we love.
That we love. That my child listens to.
Not that we actually have anything on our site
We don't.
that could be considered pornography or anything like that.
But
we're very
sex.
careful.
Right. However, my plan every Tuesday night isn't to come in here and censor myself for
Right.
somebody under the age of 18 listening, because then I might not say, like, you fucking swat waffle if I think somebody near the age of my own offspring, would be listening. This is not the place to get your sex advice if you're under 18. It's not the place.
No.
The place for sex advice if you're under 18 is The Joy of Sex. You can check it out from the library. Go read it. It's a great book.
Or sex
parents.
education in class.
Nope.
Right.
Or your parents.
You don't get sex education in class. You get
We don't
biology
know. We don't know what they
education.
got. They're not in the U.S.
Oh, he's
We're
not
like
US?
we're
Oh,
like
that's
the
right.
only country who is very closed-minded in regards to sex and teaching, sex to our youth and everything. We're like the only country. Well, not the only. I take that back.
I
I
do
would just
know.
like to remind you all that the United States of America was founded on people who were so prudish the English kicked them out.
That's true. I do want to say that I know that all of our interactions with anybody who has messaged us, whether on the Sin City Bounty Facebook or on our own individual pages, are dealt with very professionally because we do consider ourselves professional. Except for, of course,
Well, there's an exception or
if
two.
if they keep going and they send dick pics, then it's a little bit different.
Now, so let me explain what we're talking about here. So we had a 13-year-old boy who messaged all three of us and tried to play us off one another because I was told that the blonde lady was mean to me and told me I couldn't listen. And I was like, she's right, you can't. I mean, I can't stop you, but you really shouldn't listen to the show. But that was after a 20,000-page long Facebook Messenger conversation I had with Shamalama Ding Dong from Squiggle Squiggle Dot Dot Llama Vomit, who thought I was beautiful and wanted to get to know me. And I said, well, that's great, but I'm not single. I started out very professional, like, thank you, but I'm not single. I'm not really looking to do that. This is really just a place to advertise the radio show that I do. You should tune in, right? And then he just kept messaging me. So I just kept sending him the same message over and over again, which was, thank you for the kind words. Please don't forget to tune in. I mean, it was, you literally could tell it was copy and pasted because I made the same spelling mistake 4 times, right? But he just kept going. So I just started playing into it. So now, just so that you all know, I am an asshole millionaire whose boyfriend is made of gold.
And do you have a penis? Is this the same one where you have a penis?
I sent him a picture of my
you
dick.
sent a dick pic.
I sent him a picture of my dick.
I have to share with you because you were talking about this, and I went in and I'm like, shit, this same guy reached out to me. So I went in and I started corresponding with him, but I took a different route. And I asked him if he knew Justin Bieber. And he said he did. And I said, that's great. Can you set me up with him? He is meant to be my future husband. And he started going on like, no, but can't you introduce me to, I want to marry somebody. Can't you introduce me to women in the U.S.? And I said, absolutely, in exchange for hooking me up with Justin Bieber. So we kind of went back and forth on this, and he was like pretty sad. First he was trying to tell me like he wouldn't be interested in you. And I said, if he met me, he would be interested. And I mean, he continued conversing after that. I only had the patience for a little bit conversation, but he did mention that he does not like Sierra.
But he still messages me.
Oh yeah, for a long time after.
Yeah, for a long time after. And I just started ignoring him. But then I couldn't help it, and I had to go back in, and I'd have to throw in more 2 cents because he'd just be like, I just want to meet American women. And I'm like, are you going to move here? Well, I'm not immigrating to the U.S. Then I'm not introducing you to anyone because the women I know here want to be married to a man who lives in the United States of America as a legal citizen of the United States of America. Well, I'm not. This is a fucking quote. I'm not immigrating to the U.S. I live in, he didn't mention which country, but in Europe where we have freedom, you don't. I'm like, excuse the fuck out of me.
You do know 4th of July is coming, right?
It's like, I had to put my United States Army hat away because I was about to go all ballistic on his ass. But instead I said, this place is a free motherfucking country. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You can go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I am never going to introduce you. I got downright nasty with this guy. Like, I'm an asshole. I stepped my game up, though. And he continued talking to me. And even after I said, there is no way ever on the face of anything holy, anywhere, would I introduce you to anyone I know. And he says, well, you must know some single women. And I said, no, all of my women are friends and the wives of, sorry, Toxie, Arabic sheiks, and you know how they are with their wives. I mean, I did get a little racist. And he still wouldn't shut the fuck up. So anyway, that's our rant. Feel free to message us.
Yeah, feel free to message us. We love it.
We love it. At some point, we'll start asking you for dick pics. And I'm just going to let you know, if you send them to us, we will eventually put them on the internet somewhere.
Yep.
We may actually start a Tumblr page just for the dicks people send us.
We already have a blog. I just haven't updated in a really, really long time.
Yeah, we have a lot
but
of dicks.
I can easily translate all of that onto a Tumblr blog.
Yeah.
We have a Sin City Bounty Tumblr, so maybe I'll just post them there.
I wouldn't be comfortable without saying to the individual first that I'm sharing this on a Tumblr.
We're posting it. I'll post it right now, and I will post it on all of our social media. You send us a dick pic.
We're putting it on our Tumblr
We're putting
page.
it up on the web.
Okay, as long as if I can respond with that disclaimer.
Yeah.
But now, if I enjoy the dick pic, I don't have to. Then it's not a requirement.
Why wouldn't you want the rest of the world to enjoy the dick pic as well?
I want them to see
It's
the
called
little...
sharing.
Oh, I learned a lesson. I learned a lesson in all of this, by the way. Speaking of dick pics you wouldn't want to share. So I Googled infected dick because I was going to send this guy a picture of an infected dick. And it's worse than dolphin porn. Don't do it. I couldn't. I looked at 3 pictures and I had to turn it off. And I then had to tell Toxie.
You had to turn it off?
I had to turn it
Yeah,
off.
that's when you know it's bad.
I had to send Toxie a message and say, babe, don't ever Google infected dick. It will ruin you.
So you guys went to one of our original starting point this week.
Yeah, where the whole thing started. Yeah, we
Right.
went to... There's a great little bar in town called CD Sports Lounge. This is a free plug for them because even though they're not owned by the owners that owned it when we started going there, and they're no longer the same CDs that it was when we were going there, the drinks are still pretty fucking cheap.
CD's Lounge over off of...
Pecos and Desert Inn.
Yep.
So, go.
That's where we kind of started. That's where we would get together and tell our stories when it was myself, Sierra, and Calypso. And I get a text about 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. What are you doing around midnight? I was already in bed.
Which is unusual.
Which is unusual. But these 2 ladies went down and spent the evening at CD's. How did you like it, Toxie?
Besides the creepy, super clingy bartender lady.
Aside from that, the bartending service was a little different than I would normally find in a bar. But
It's a very casual... I used to take my computer in there and work all the time. It was quiet.
No, it seemed really casual. I mean, the
Yeah.
prices seemed great. There weren't many people in for a Saturday night, which was very surprising.
Well, that's kind of why we liked it. It's quiet. You can have a conversation without having to shout over Kanye's douchey ass.
Sierra was telling me that the jukebox is exactly the same as it was about 10 years ago.
It is not exactly the same. It is the exact same jukebox with the exact same shitty 15-year-old CDs in it that were shitty 15-year-old CDs 10 years ago. I mean, can we switch out some Barry Manilow?
What? There was Barry Manilow in there?
Yeah.
Are you a Barry Manilow
Of course,
fan?
I'm a Fanilow. I've been to Fanilow. I've been to quite a few Barry Manilow concerts in my time.
Hold the goddamn phone. I never ever, in the history of ever, from now until eternity, want to hear a single word from you when we call ourselves truckies or nerds or geeks or dorks
Nope.
or anything else like that. You
They're two
fucking
totally different
Fanilow.
things.
Fanilow.
No,
They're different things.
they are not.
Barry Manilow is way different than Star Trek.
But calling yourself a Fanilow,
Yeah. That's
Why?
although I am a Cumberbitch.
I'm also a believer, so you know.
Gross.
You realize I actually, for as much as I joke about it, I don't actually like Justin Bieber that much.
I think he's all right.
I'm the kind of the
I
same.
like his songs are catchy.
Yeah,
I do.
His last album is good. I feel he kind of got the shaft in not being raised, by family versus managers. But
Yeah, because his dad's a great example of a human being to be. That's the same guy he hotboxed a private jet with.
yes, that is.
Good parent.
That's the guy who, when they took a penis pic illegally, where Justin Bieber was at a resort somewhere or private home or
Right.
something, and they took it, and his father shared it on Twitter and said something like, "That's my boy."
Yeah.
He
Gross. That's like when Donald Trump said,
I'd do my daughter.
I'd
do
date
my
my daughter.
daughter.
Yeah, that's so disgusting.
If she wasn't my daughter, we'd probably be dating.
Yeah.
That was a
So fucking gross. My kid is great. He's going to be an amazing man. He's going to make some woman very fucking happy. But I would never in a million years say, that's my penis.
I think
No.
the most mom can say about her son is he's so handsome.
My
Because
boy
all
is
moms
handsome.
do that,
right.
right?
Even when their kid is fugly.
And you can say that your daughter is beautiful if you're a dad. And that's pretty much how far you should take it.
Pretty much. You start talking about dick size, tit size, how
God.
sexy they are, like that's too much. You've crossed the line into fetish erotica. Just get over it.
It's crossed the line into something else.
It's gross. So gross.
Anything else happened this week?
Yes, I do have one to. I suddenly got. I hear an echo.
I think the speaker's on. We can hear ourselves in the studio.
I wonder what kind of feedback we're getting on that.
I'm playing Barry Manilow.
We're getting
Barry Manilow is
Manilowed.
great if you're gonna get in there, getting.
Hey,
some
I went
Copacabana.
through a very short period of time. I think it was like 2 months, where when I Made It Through the Rain came out, when I was watching Solid Gold all the time, and I Made It Through the Rain came out. I love that song. I learned it by heart.
I made it through the rain. No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went through a Barry Manilow phase for a little bit, but then I was a huge fan of Solid Gold as well.
Spin,
so.
spin the dark circle. Or just maybe black circle. No? Okay.
What are you talking about?
That's a song lyric. You guys gonna start throwing out songs from shit music that nobody listens to? I will too.
We are specifically talking about Barry Manilow.
Yes.
There's some stuff
At
like
the
I can't say.
Copacabana.
That one's a good one.
It is.
That's about it.
Her name was Lola.
She was a
showgirl.
oh, I was gonna say dancer. She was a stripper. Her tits were in my face.
Not quite.
No?
I wonder if there have been some dirty versions of Barry Manilow songs.
Out of fairness, my mother was actually the Fanilow, and so growing up, it was always on. And then I had taken her to multiple concerts. I've never actually gone there on my own, but I've always purchased tickets for my mother and I.
Is music a big thing for you right now in your life? Are you a huge music listener? Do you wait on, tiptoe waiting for the next CD to come out of some group or band or singer?
No.
Yes.
No? You?
Yes, absolutely. Music has always been a huge part of my life.
You two still your number one, right?
Oh yeah, U2's still the number one.
Okay.
Well, you want to know anything? We'll see. I'm a huge Hailstorm fan. I'm looking forward to. I'm sure they're going to be putting out a new album. I am absolutely, positively, 100% sexually in love with Disturbed's new album, called Immortalized, with the Sound of Silence and the Immortalized song, the title track, and then in The Light, and there's just so many amazing songs on that album.
Does music...
And I just downloaded from the High Kings a song called Memory Road, or a CD called Memory Road. They're a traditional Celtic band, Irish band.
Does music mark your life? Like you have songs for certain times of your day, or...
There's less that, but there's definitely like the entire Joshua Tree album from U2 got me through like freshman and sophomore year of high school. So whenever I hear that, it's like, oh, that got me through it. I actually had to stop listening to Michael Bublé for about a year and a half. Who, if anyone knows me, knows that right after Bono comes Michael Bublé on my sexual hit list. Like boom, boom, like they are right there neck and neck, depending on who just put out an album. I actually had to stop listening to him for a while because I introduced him to a boyfriend of mine, and he got really into him, and we had like all these songs we used to sing to each other, and it was brought to my attention that suddenly the bitch that he cheated on me with, and I think they're still dating, that suddenly our song was their song, and I was like, I'm done. I can't listen to him for a while now. But so yeah, the music definitely marks parts of my life, but not like I have to listen to Hailstorm in the morning and Pearl Jam at night.
I'm not a big music fan anymore. Like I don't, wait with bated breath for an album to drop or whatever. But I do have memories. So when I hear music in the background, like I can smell the coconut oil from the summer that I listened to the song, or it just brings back memories of people or
Hotel
what have
California.
you. I knew that song way before we used to do it all the
Oh.
time at campouts. But yeah. So this week I was listening to, I don't know where I was, but I heard Leo Sayer. Do you know who Leo Sayer is?
No.
Can you see if you can find that song, Johnny Fever? Speaking of which, last week on the show, your voice did not show up on the mic because you forgot to turn your mic on, I think. But I was listening to the song by Leo Sayer.
Changed my mind.
You took it out.
And when Mike and I first got together, that song would play through my head. It's an old song, and the song would just play over and over in my head. And
Are you going to tell me which one?
the biggest one he had.
Okay.
His one-hit wonder.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and it was. I just started crying this week. It was horrible.
There's a song that reminds me of Mike that makes me cry every time I hear it too.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad that music's not a huge thing in my life anymore, and I try to avoid it. I do a lot of watching Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or something like that, or every once in a while I'll watch some YouTube, and I'll pop in a CD or DVD or something like that. But I do like when TV shows use music. I caught up on Empire this week, the season finale, the last few episodes. I love the Empire show. It's like a telenova, but for black people. It's awesome, and the music on that show is amazing. So
It's not my kind of music though, so I'm not really into it.
I bet you'd like some of it.
Maybe some of it. I mean, I listen to anything. If you picked up my well, it's Google Play now. It's not iTunes anymore for me because I'm an Android user now.
Did you have to repurchase the songs?
No, I didn't, because Google actually has a way to import your iTunes library.
Yeah, they're
into their-
MP4s. When you
Yeah.
get them, they're MP4s, so they should automatically
didn't-
just
well,
move
they're
over.
not.
No, they're not MP4s. They're some proprietary MP4 H2 or some bullshit that Apple uses. But Google Play has created a conversion tool in their Google Play Music thing so that you can convert your iTunes music.
Yeah, I mean, I think I listen a lot. I'm just not like, God, I can't wait for this album.
Do you just turn
I
on a
track-
station, or do you have CDs?
I do a lot of Spotify. No, I have songs on my phone, but they're mainly my daughter's downloads. I have a couple CDs in the car, like, Mumford and Sons and Maroon 5 and stuff. I listen to like folk rock,
I like this. I like this a lot.
Luminaires,
Ooh.
Bon Iver.
You'd like the High Kings, although they're way more Celtic than Mumford and Sons.
Yeah.
is.
I mean, if there's a banjo in it, I'm on. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
we have something we can bond over now. I love
I'll
folk
put
Americana.
on during the day. I'll put on Spotify, and sometimes there's mood playlists I'll pick.
I like their folk Americana stuff.
That's where I go, or else I'll go there. I'll either pick a mood list, or I'll go to folk Americana and just pick one of those.
Was that Pinky Wiggle over there?
Leo Sayer.
Music.
And
you make me
now
feel
on
like
the
dancing, Leo Sayer.
WWDB request line, going out to Sin City Bounty.
Our very own pirate over there. It's a pirate radio.
Arg.
When I need you, I just close my eyes and I'm with you. And all that I so wanna give you, it's only a heartbeat away. When I need love, I hold out my hands and I touch love. I never knew there was so much love keeping me warm night and day.
I think I'm gonna cry.
Where'd our feedback go? Don't cry, Toxie spit on me.
Oh.
I drool. I'm a spitter. I'm wet. I'm a wet
Oh, you just made the night of every male watching the show.
I'm wet, she says. Leo Sayer makes Toxie wet.
There is a fetish
Never
of
went out.
guys who like to watch girls drool a lot.
Can I monetize
There is-
on this?
there
Because
is
I'm
also-
a drooler.
There is also a huge... It's mostly little Asian women who do it, but guys pay lots of money for videos of women rolling their face around in bread. Just bread.
There are so many fetishes out there. It's crazy.
You and I can make hundreds of dollars a month by eating hot dogs for 15 minutes a day.
I would totally do this. Then I'll drool, and then I'll rub bread in my face. I'm down.
I'm just going to pour some chocolate syrup on me. I can't eat any of it, but I'm going to pour it on me. Not my kind of music. I am.
Leo
It's a
Sayer?
great song.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
a classic.
I'm sure it's a very nice song. That's like that's like first dance at a wedding music. Not my wedding, but that's the kind of stuff I expect to see when I go to other people's weddings. They're like, and now the bride and groom are going to dance to their song, and I'm like, if Callie Guy and I were going to have a song, there was a song that was very popular, a country song that was popular for a very short period of time called Love Doesn't Have to Be Hard or something like that. I'll have to look it up for you guys. But basically it's like, why do we have to live up to everyone else's standards? Why do we have to do what everyone else says? Why does there have to be drama in our relationship? I was like, this is our song.
Okay. Is it slow or?
No. It's a country
rockin'.
rock.
So would there be like some country line dancing?
No. No.
Could there be?
Then
So
Toxie won't go.
If we ever invite you to the wedding we're never going to have, then we'll probably do the chicken dance.
Hey, when you get to 7 years, you should have one of those parties for, what is it, domestic partnership, whatever thing?
No,
Where
we're not
it's-
even going to do that. Like with
With just the legality of being together for 7 years makes it a.
Oh, that doesn't apply in Nevada.
Yeah, it doesn't. But and they also don't
We don't live together.
I see.
They don't share a joint.
What is that
residence.
called? I can't remember.
Common
Common law,
Common
that's
marriage.
it.
Thank you. No, we don't qualify for common law because we don't live together, and it doesn't work in California or Nevada.
What about just like a promise party?
Well, we promised to be
What
together
are you gonna
forever.
promise?
Promise to fuck you later. Woo, woo.
Right?
No, we always joke about.
I'm just thinking of an excuse for a party. Hello.
We joke a lot about having when we never get married, we should do this at our reception. Like we joke like that all the time.
I actually heard you guys say just this weekend,
Right.
the phrase "when we never get married."
When we never get married, we should do this. We've actually thought about it. We were gonna do it for our 5-year anniversary, but then that came up real fast and we didn't have anything planned. I'm sure we'll do something like, because I want like the whole big reception and
You want the
catered-
presents,
I wouldn't mind
and
the
I want you to have it to go for the
presents.
food.
Right. No, I really just want it for the food and the dancing and the chicken dance. Like, that's what I want. Like, the little girls in the flower dresses running around and the little boys in tuxedos tripping over themselves.
Seeing
Like,
your family and friends drunk. It's always fun.
that's a Saturday night. Like, anytime my people get together, that's what it is. But, yeah, no, I want to do that and have the DJ spin off some stupid shit in a really cheesy video about us. Maybe one of my besties gets up all shit-faced drunk, does some toast.
Hell yeah, we do toasts.
Lots of toasts.
That'd be so much fun.
And then my dad would get drunk, bury his face in some bridesmaid's boobs, which happens at every wedding I've been to.
Is your dad married again?
Yeah. Didn't stop him the first time either.
So funny. And look, it's half an hour after again.
We do that.
Oh,
What's the curse word of the week?
Let's come back to that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about one of our big stories. Oh, did we talk about who's going to be coming on the show soon? We're working. We're working on. Well, we mentioned already the Geek Lounge, so I'm going to be sending them an email here very shortly about getting them on. I spent the evening with Jacob Palmer from Plush the Nightclub yesterday, and he's got some upcoming news. You can go visit plushthenightclub.com and see his front page, which kind of gives you a hint of what might be up and coming with Plush the nightclub. So we'll be having him on soon, and it's coming up summer, which a lot of events for BBWs happen here in town. There is what's it called?
Well-rounded. There's BBW Well-rounded. There is BBW Con.
Right.
There is. I feel like there's more.
Is Stu doing anything?
No.
Well, he's doing Winter Weekend,
Yeah,
but
not till the winter.
that's
He
not
did
till
last
February.
year.
Okay.
And he tagged it on the weekend before, but I think that was just too much party for some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we'll be probably having one or both of the organizers for those events coming on as well to talk about those upcoming events, because they're coming up really soon. So stay tuned. Send us an email or a message if you're interested in getting anybody on the air with us. We don't mind having guests in the studio at all. We've already been approached by a couple people, so just stay tuned for that. And then, of course, Steph. Steph has been doing sex stories
Yes.
with Steph.
From her tub.
Yes,
It is
with a
awesome.
Facebook Live video stream. So go check out Steph's Facebook page, and you can follow Sex Stories with Steph, and send her stuff too, because she loves hearing your stories as well. So I love that girl.
She's amazing.
Get her back going again. So what do you want to talk about next? Let's talk about.
I would like to talk about one thing really kind of quick. If you guys had seen the interview with Donald Trump just the other day,
Yes.
and he was being interviewed, and now Trump has Trump University.
Not
And
anymore.
I thought that was
he did,
defunct.
but I believe the lawsuit involves it, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken. He's involved in a lawsuit regarding it.
Yes, because it's closed now, and there's people who paid tuition that aren't going to get a degree because it's closed.
Right.
And because it's closed because it was a load of jack bullshit.
What is it? A business college? Was that what's supposed to be?
I don't remember.
And so a lot of those are going out. A lot of the business type schools. Or at least they have in recent time. But he was being interviewed, and during the interview he said that he felt that because the judge was of Mexican heritage, he could not fairly judge this case. And the interviewer is sitting there going, "What?"
He's from
What do you
Indiana.
mean? Well, yeah. So he said, why do you think they can't fairly judge it? And he said he's of Mexican heritage. And he said, what does that have to do with anything? And he's like, I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall. And he kept saying it. And he's like, yes, but he's an American. He's Mexican American. He was born in Indiana.
Yeah.
And again, he said, I just feel that because of this, he can't fairly judge. And the interviewer is going, so what you're saying is based on his race, he can't be fair and do his job correctly, specifically based on his race? And he's like, well, yes, in this circumstance. And the interviewer's like, that is the exact definition of racism. And it was very interesting. But
It's I don't know what has to happen for people to understand how dangerous Donald Trump as a political candidate is.
So here's the deal. I don't think Donald Trump should ever come anywhere near the White House. I don't even think he should be allowed to go on the White House tour. Okay? But the idea that he's going to be a dangerous president is kind of absurd, because neither the Republicans nor the Democrats like him. What will happen if Donald Trump becomes president is nothing. Nothing will happen in our entire government. No process will ever get done, because between him fighting the Senate and the House fighting him, nothing will actually get done. It will be 4 years of stagnation. And you know what? Not that I want Donald Trump in the White House. Please, dear God, don't ever quote me as saying I want him in the White House, because I do not. I think that doucheberry needs to get dropped off into the deepest recesses of darkest Africa so that Matumbo Makembe can show him exactly what the fuck's going on. Okay? Matumbo Makembe is a real person, by the way. Anyway, he needs to
why does
just...
he have to be from Africa?
Because he is from Africa.
Why can't you
Or
be like
South America. Send him down.
Yeah,
to
send
South
him down to South America. Juan Carlos can put him in his place, too. Send him down to live with the Mexican drug lords. Who's that guy that's he wants Sean Penn to play him in the movie or whatever the
yeah.
fuck it was?
El Chapo?
They caught
El
him because of
Chapo.
Sean Penn.
Because of Sean Penn, right?
I don't think he'll
like-
be hanging out with Sean Penn anytime soon. Sean Penn's no longer a connection.
No,
Sean Penn's good as dead. So.
Donald Trump is a fucking douchebag, all right? As a matter of fact, I came up with a word. Not that I came up with it. I've used this word many times, but my cursor of the week's coming soon. Anyway, I don't want him to be president, but the idea of 4 years of nothing happening, taxes not being raised or lowered, of no new crazy things being implemented so that the whole world has to explode, nothing being taken down either. Like everything staying exactly the way it is right now for 4 years might not be the worst thing that's happened.
Yeah, I don't think that nothing will happen.
Yeah,
I don't. Nothing can't happen.
nothing can.
I feel like it will undo any relationships that we have
Oh,
developed.
okay,
with
yeah, that will happen.
countries.
The countries that I don't not that I'm not a big fan of President Obama. I don't hate the guy. I said this on my personal Facebook page not too long ago. But the one thing he has absolutely done is seriously improved our image overseas with other countries. That's a good thing. And yes, Donald Trump will totally destroy all of that. But anything else, probably going to be.
He already
what's
has,
called
and
a
he's not
stagnant.
even a president
I
yet.
know.
Right.
He
But
is not
Hillary
even
Clinton-
allowed. Is this is true, right? He's not even allowed in the UK.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe so.
The Queen was like, "No, fuck that, no."
But things will change. Even if he does become president and nothing happens in Congress or at the Senate level, things will still change because there will be pockets of people. We've seen them already, which I'm not a big fan of protesters at his rallies getting
Violent.
and
Liberals can get violent too.
Nothing ever doesn't change. Everything changes. And I'm afraid that if he gets in there, if he can't do anything government-wise, things will change, maybe not in the way we like. Or militia law.
Military law, yeah.
I think that there's a much better
Martial law.
a much better chance right now of him getting into office. I think the Democratic Party went too long with not having a clear, presumptive, choice.
Well,
and,
The Democrats' choice, which is going to be Hillary Clinton, is, in my opinion, not that much better than Donald Trump. She's currently being indicted for lying to the government and to the American people for something that is seriously erroneous. All of her charitable organization bullshit and all the Clinton Gate shit that's gone down, I don't trust her to be my president. I'm not saying she's a bad person. Yes, I am. I don't trust her to be my president. I would take super liberal Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton any day. But I am seeing more and more people on my Facebook page talking about, I've started researching this Gary Johnson guy, and it's not all that bad. And I'm like, nope,
no,
sure
that still
isn't.
could happen. That still could happen.
Yes, if you are so disenfranchised.
You didn't see the eye roll over there?
Like, it doesn't matter how many people amongst your
I know.
Facebook friends that do it. It's going to be one of the two.
I know it's going to be one of the two, which is a tragedy because you do have a better option.
It is.
There are far better options in your third-party candidates out there right now than we have.
There were far better options within the Republican candidates.
There were Republican candidates.
Many far better options.
And from what I've been hearing in the last week or so, not all the Republicans are against Donald Trump anymore.
Well,
I
here's
think
one. They have to back him now. Because now here's kind of where the Democrats are failing. You need to get behind someone and go. I just watched a video today with Paul Ryan, who absolutely said he does not. Is it Paul Ryan or Ryan Paul?
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
You know which dude. And he said, I absolutely do not agree with what he said about the judge. It's wrong. Those thoughts don't even go in my mind. I can't believe he said that. With that being said, I still do agree with many of his, policies, and I really feel that we can come together and yada, yada, yada. So they're already trying to, we're going to smooth this over and just say, hey, I don't agree, but the rest of this I agree with, because they have to come in line with him now. There's no other there's no other option.
Yeah, I've said from the very beginning, Donald Trump is going to destroy the Republican Party. There will be so many Republicans. There are so many Republicans that despise him so much that they will leave the Republican Party and start their own party, and enough of them will leave that the Republican Party just will basically turn into a third party candidacy again.
I think they're too lazy to do that.
No, I don't think so.
Hotshot LV said, I don't think it matters who gets elected. They all suck. Things will not change until there are term limits for all elected officials. In regards to Hillary, let her get elected just so we could see a sitting president be arrested. And set the term limits and you might see some change.
There are term limits.
No. There are many, many federal appointed
Right.
positions that are lifelong appointments.
Yeah.
But for senators, congressmen, and president, there are term limits.
Not all states have term limits on senators and congressmen. You can be elected.
There
at a
are
new
federal term limits for congressmen and senators and the president.
The president, yes.
President for sure.
But I don't think there is for senators. and
There's no limit on how many times a congressman or a senator, I believe, can get reelected.
Yeah,
but
no.
there are term limits.
No, well, there are. What I think he's talking about is the same thing where the president can only be elected for 2 terms. I think candidates, senators and representatives should also have that restriction.
Ah.
I personally don't think we should be able to basically make someone our senator for the rest of their known life.
But that's,
they get old.
But those are local elections. That's where that happens, at the local level. And I remember when we were covering the election when I used to be on the show, nobody knew about local elections. It was only about the federal election.
Yes.
But if you cared about who your senator was or who your congressmen were or who your representatives were, then that's where it makes the difference.
Yeah, if you're pissed off because your super delegates right now are voting for Hillary Clinton, that's because you picked the wrong super delegates. In case you didn't know, your super delegates are your senators and congressmen. If they're not voting the way you wanted them to vote, then you shouldn't have voted those guys in. Should have picked other guys.
One of my
Or
favorite places
whatever.
to get local political information here in Las Vegas is a radio show who I was affiliated with for a really long time on another station, and that was Veterans in Politics with Steve Sanson. And it's veterans that have formed an organization, and they endorse candidates, and they do videotaped interviews with all of they invite every single candidate running in a local election, and they videotape the interview so you can go on YouTube and watch them. But I highly, highly, highly recommend getting to know who the candidates are at the local level, because that is where your vote counts more than anything.
And in this day and age, honestly, every single person running for every single seat, no matter how small it is, has a website about their stance on the issues. They all do. That little pre-vote ballot you get in the mail, I know you bitches know how to Google porn. You can Google a fucking elected official just as easily. If you can type in giant clit wet pussy spewing vaginal fluid, you can also type in Senator Joe Schmo District 3 Court 11, and I bet you that bitch has got a Facebook page where he talks about his stance on the issues.
Really quick, Callie Guy said there are no term limits for the U.S. Senate or House. There are 2 term limits for president. It's all in the Constitution. Hotshot LV said there are senators who have been in office for over 50 years. Strom Thurmond was one of them, over 50 years. Wendy of Neverland said U.S. Senate and House of Representatives both have no term limits.
Term
They
limits
are
in how
not
many
limited
times?
to the amount of times they can be elected.
But they do.
But
There
they
are
should-
elections either every 2 years or every
Right,
6
but
years, I
they
believe.
should.
They should be
what he
limited
was
on the number of
explaining is They should be
terms.
limited just like a president.
But that's a local level. That is a local level election.
Yes.
And
So it is the
Callie Guy
local
said,
people who choose whether or not those people are reelected every year.
a constitutional amendment would be required to change any of that.
Yeah, to change the number of term limits. Yes, you're right. If the local people got out and voted, so here's the problem with people. People are, a vast majority of us are just sheeple, and if they don't go
Lazy, not sheeple, lazy.
if they don't go and research the new names, they will just vote for the name that they've heard repeatedly in the media. And if that's their current sitting senator and current sitting congressman, that's just, well, he's already there. They'll just keep picking like that, which means that an uninformed voter can be voting the same lunatic into Senate or Congress over and over and over again. We don't allow that for our presidency. I don't know why we should allow that for any other federal representative that we have.
Because, well, they're technically not federal representatives, they're state representatives.
On a federal level. They're our state.
At the federal level, yes, but they have to be voted by the state.
They do. But people are stupid, and we have to make up for that by setting term limits.
It was Wendy of Neverland said, 22nd Amendment from 1951 was what created the POTUS to have 2 terms. And one
I believe because Roosevelt could have just kept going. Was it Roosevelt?
Somebody like that.
Yeah. One of those guys. Roosevelt could have kept going.
And one good executive order and term limits are in place.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's 2 definitions for term limits. One is, I believe a senator's term is 4 years, and I believe a congressman's terms is 6 years. So every 2 years. So 2 years for a senator. So every 2 years, you can elect a new senator.
You can, if you actually know what you're doing or you actually vote. The other problem is we have like a dismal percentage number of people fucking vote. Dismal. If you compared us to third world countries that vote, if you go to a third world country, 90% of the people who live there go out and vote. Our country, it's like 45%. We don't even get 50% of the country out to vote. And that is fucking stupid.
Of the
And I
people
don't
who
like that
actually
word.
register to vote.
Yes.
Only 50% of the country actually registers to vote.
And only 50% of those bitches show up to vote.
Vendetta said it was FDR.
FDR?
Yep.
Yeah, and I believe he's the one that made the law.
Because he was like, I don't want to do this shit no more, y'all. It's hard. It is hard. You ever notice how much a presidency ages a man? Barack Obama went into the presidency looking hot. And I'm not saying he's ugly now, but woo, he aged in 8 years.
He did.
He aged a lot. Like, I can see Benghazi's over here.
Putin.
Afghanistan over here. There's some Putin in the back. Like
It's almost as bad as owning a radio station.
Yeah, it'll age you.
Kelly Guy said, as a practical matter, our elected officials choose their voters via gerrymandering district boundaries, far more than we choose them. There is less turnover in the House than in the old
Soviet Politburo.
Soviet
true.
Politburo.
So the gerrymandering thing is so true, and that's come to light in so many places, even here in Las Vegas, which is crazy. And gerrymandering, for those of you who don't know, is changing boundaries so you can have certain neighborhoods voting for you, and that's why boundaries are like this as opposed to just straight lines.
They should just
And
be straight
Wendy of
lines.
Neverland said, no, FDR died shortly after being elected a 4th time.
So it was the other.
No, it was FDR.
Oh.
But FDR was voted 4 times to be president. Couldn't have been that bad a guy. He did save us from ourselves.
We think it's important that you be informed and go out and vote.
I don't care if you vote for a fucking tomato. Just go out and vote.
If you still want to be lazy and you don't want to do your research, my suggestion, if you are a member of a union, your union usually goes out and picks all the candidates that they want to vote for, and if you trust your union, go vote for all the candidates that they picked for you. If
you're in a motorcycle club, they do the same
that's
thing.
That's right. If you're a member of the NRA, find out what the list is that the NRA says for your state or whatever, and go vote for them.
And send me a letter. We can be NRA pen pals.
Really quick, Wendy of Neverland. Franklin D. Roosevelt was the first and only American president to break Washington's 2-term tradition successfully. He died in office a few months after starting his 4th term. This gave rise to a successful move in Congress to formalize the traditional 2-term limit by amending the U.S. Constitution. As ratified in 1951, the 22nd Amendment provides that no person shall be elected. It cut part of it out, but I'm assuming beyond 2 terms.
Right.
And so saith Wikipedia.
I was
Which
just going to
is
say, that was Wendy of
my
Neverland.
first choice in research. And it really is.
Vote. Just fucking vote.
So.
I don't care who you vote for. I don't care how you vote. Even if you just want to go and close your eyes and punch random holes in your fucking ticket.
No, don't do that. Please
Vote.
don't. Please don't do that. Go
Make
in
an informed decision.
Go in kind of informed, or steal it. Steal it. If your dad is your hero and you trust his opinion, ask him who you should vote for.
Unless it's my
And
dad.
it's very simple. Even when they give you the books, they tell you what their
That's
their
right.
thing is. Just take the book with you. When I've gone before, if there are people that I haven't researched prior, and I get to the ones down there like, who do you want your garbage man to be? Or just some positions. I'm like, I never heard of
he
this
hot?
position.
University regent is one that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck position
Right.
is this? I have no idea. I didn't look this up.
A lot of
And
people
so
don't
I'll
know-
read the little blurbs. And to be quite honest, if it's one that I can't make an informed decision on, then I go past it versus just randomly picking somebody.
That's right. If you are a registered Democrat or a registered Republican and you want to see your party go forth, then vote, all Republicans or vote all Democrats. Or don't go uninformed, completely uninformed, and just randomly pick something, please, because
Right.
that just defeats the whole purpose.
And don't just
Google.
pick the top
Steal
one of the
your
ballot,
opinion.
because that, that sucks.
Steal your opinion if you have to.
If you're in one of those places where it's a long ass line to vote, take your little ballot with you. Take your computer that's in your phone in your hand these days. Get off the goddamn Bubble Witch Saga Candy Crush bullshit and just Google some names. Just Google some stuff. Just Google it.
Or do what I do and find out who your favorite star is voting for, and then go vote for them.
If I could make the Tony Stark face, I would.
I don't do that.
Anyway.
Vendetta said, what makes me mad is after I switch from Republican to Independent, I literally have no say in the actual primaries.
Yeah, that kind of.
That depends on the state, of course. I know here in Nevada it's the same way. I went and registered as a Democrat this year. I am going back to nonpartisan. A lot of people don't know independent doesn't mean independent. There is an independent party. So nonpartisan is what you are if you don't want to have anything to do with anybody.
Yeah.
So.
Unfortunately, I'm going to call Cali Guy out in chat. He said, I was joking about remembering as in I was there. You were not there in 1951. You are old, but you are not that old. Yeah, you might be that old, Mr. Johnny Fever. It's not like our votes actually matter with the Electoral College in place anyway. I know.
That is only at the presidential level. Everything else, your vote counts. Every fucking thing else, your vote fucking counts.
And if you don't like the Electoral College, you, as a registered voter, can begin a petition to eliminate the Electoral College. You get enough petitions on a ballot. You get enough petitions, enough signatures on your petition. You can create a ballot and all that shit and take it all the way up and get rid of the Electoral College.
That is one argument during the political season that pisses me off more than anything. Oh, my vote doesn't count anyway. It's a fucking Electoral College. It's only for the presidency. That's it.
Everything else it counts for. Everything.
We have 3 minutes.
I know. There's another thing I want to touch on really quick, and I know we have to wrap up fast, but it's happening now. It kind of ties into the elections in a way, and I'll tell you why. But I'm sure everybody's already heard about Brock Turner.
Yes.
That douchebag that got 6 months after he raped a girl? Yeah.
Right. He raped a girl, and I argued with somebody earlier about, the exact definition of what he did. Any penetration equals rape.
Yeah. If I'm passed the fuck out and I don't know you and you put your dick inside me, that's called rape.
Yep.
Even if you put other body parts in, same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
even if you put something not attached to your body into my orifices,
So
it's rape.
what happened, this woman went to a party on campus. She got very drunk. She woke up in the hospital. And what had happened is this young gentleman had raped her and got away with a 6-month sentence.
And he can apply
he
for
got-
probation in 3.
Which was given to him by a judge, which is an electable position.
Which is up for election right now. And unfortunately, he's running unopposed. But that seat is up right now. That judge gave him 6 months. And his father kind of came out and he said, listen, his exact words were something like 20 minutes of action and you're going to ruin this guy's, this kid's life.
20 minutes
20
of
minutes
action.
of action were his words. If you have not read about it yet, go online, read this, and if you can, read the letter from the victim that she read out loud in court. I got halfway through. I had to stop. I mean, it was such a mix of fucking emotions. This poor woman woke up and had no idea, but then detailed what the ordeal is after. So it's asinine. It's asinine that he only gets 6 months. We could go into a much further, longer discussion about it, but it comes down to he is a white male who's privileged. His family has money, and
there's so much victim blaming going on.
Right.
It's not even funny.
Right. That it's her fault for getting so drunk and this and this and
I have the right to get blackout fucking drunk and not have you put things inside my body that don't belong there. I have the right to wear a short skirt and a low-cut top and not have you put things inside my body that don't belong there. I have a right to drink an entire bottle of tequila by myself, get belligerent at the bar, get punched out, pass out behind the dumpster, and not have you put shit inside my body that doesn't belong there. I have the right to do whatever the fuck I want without you raping me.
We're SinCityBounty.com. Visit us on the website. Our show will be up in a couple of days. Facebook, Twitter, Google+. We'll see you next week.
Later, bitches!